and welcome to the AfricaNEV podcast. My name is Gada Shago, as usual, and this is a podcast that we talk about sustainable energy and transport solutions for Africa. Today, our guest is David Meek Jah, Executive Director of CADAP. David, welcome to the AfricaNEV podcast.
Thank you very much, God. It's a pleasure. I'm new to this forum, but I want to see what happens here and how it helps what you said you're doing, which is policy advocacy. And Thanks for the program.
You're welcome, my dear. Now, tell us a bit about yourself. I know that you are Sierra Leonean and you're into technology solutions. So, who's David Meek Jah?
So basically, I'm an entrepreneur, and my focus as an entrepreneur is more of economic empowerment for Africa. And economic empowerment, I'm talking about developing services that move African countries from low-income economy to high-income economy. And that talks about working within the primary sector. The primary sector provides a bulk of the population of African countries, and we believe that if you put cash and capital, says Thomas Piketty, into the hands of those in the primary sector, you move the African country from poverty, because 70% of the population is operating in the primary sector. You have farmers, you have miners, and those people are deprived from energy, what you're talking about, and what you're trying to, to lobby policymakers, to invest into and to de-risk the industry itself. And so that's where I work, and so that's me.
What do you mean by primary sector? Can you break it down a bit? It's like a term of.
So generally, when you talk about a country, you're talking about commerce. You're talking about production.
Okay.
You can't sell what you can produce. And so in the production trend, you have the primary production, secondary and tertiary production. And so primary production means primary sector. And so who produces, you have secondary production, for instance, those who maybe improve on it to a certain level and package it. And then, so for instance, I give an example. You say you're from Ghana. So Ghana has a primary production in mining, where people mine the raw gold.
Okay.
And then you have a secondary production where people maybe get to certify it, to meet certain government standards or requirements and have it in wholesale. And then you have tertiary production in Dubai, where people turn it into jewelry and all the rest. And so that is what I'm talking about. So when I talk about the primary sector, I'm talking about those who are closer to the land, in their villages, in their communities, and using the land directly to produce what they need.
Is that the problem of Africa, where we are seen as a space for raw resources and raw materials? So if we are investing more into primary production, we are leaving the secondary and tertiary to somebody else. Is that just a repeat of the current problem that we have?
I think you need to speak louder. I didn't hear your question.
I was saying that you were saying that we're trying to invest into the primary sector. Can you hear me now? Okay. And my question is that not a continuation of the existing colonial legacy, where we are seen as a source for raw materials? Then those other people will use it for secondary and tertiary production.
So you can't really produce a tertiary product if you don't have the primary products to use.
Fair.
So for instance, you can't make cornflakes if you don't plant corn. The cornflakes may be a tertiary product, in the package, but if you don't plant corn.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the challenges with Africa today is poor management of producing food to eat. And I'm looking at Africa's disease ecology and looking at Africa's population, the demand for food, the demand, to produce as much as possible to consume. Africa is importing virtually half of what we eat, or maybe 70% of what we eat.
Yeah.
And so for things to get cheaper, we need to produce as much as possible, especially in agriculture and food sufficiency and security. And so once we produce enough, then we can begin to look at how do we transform that, or preserve that and transform it into secondary or tertiary products. And so I think that is what we are talking about. We're not talking about peeling Africa's resources and taking them outside.
Okay.
Even minerals, it's unfortunate that we produce minerals in Africa and governments don't use it. Deliberately, they don't use it, because in other countries, for instance, like China and other places, governments ensure that citizens have some of their reserves. For instance, if you're a Ghanaian and you have a bank account in Ghana, and so in that bank account, they tell you that 30% of that bank account should be in hard currency, which is gold. Gold has never depreciated since in the 17th century, when they started trading gold up till today. The price has never gone down back to where it was in the 17th century. It's going up every year. So I mean, it's unfortunate that we mind these things and our governments don't even have policies wherein we should have hard currency. Can you imagine Sierra Leone has, for instance, 5% of the world diamond reserve? Imagine if every Sierra Leonean is mandated to have some of their own savings in diamonds. Imagine how wealthy the country would be, since mining started in the 1920s. So it's not about getting those minerals and sending them out. It's about how do you use them? How do you transform them? Besides, those are the things that are coming back to us, as finished goods, and we are paying 20, 30 times the price. So it's better you produce more, then you begin to think about how to turn it into goods and services that you can use actually. So that's the essence of what we are trying to do.
Okay. So I'm actually sharing here. I don't know if you can see. What is so? How is CADAP solving this problem from a practical presentation perspective? Because as I'm looking at the presentation that you shared with me earlier.
Yeah, so generally what we do is you can go up the slide a little bit. You can push the slide forward a little bit. Push.
Yeah. So how is CADAP actually solving this problem that you spoke about, the primary sector for Africa, practically?
Yeah, so what happens is generally if I started in mining, and so most of what we used to do used to be in areas where there were those were like semi-autonomous areas, you're talking about behind mountains, and Sierra Leone has some of the highest mountain ranges in West Africa. We have Bintuman Peak. It's the highest peak in West Africa. And so you're talking about places, miles and miles away, and so I started my activity in those areas. No power, no bank, no connectivity, so as early as an entrepreneur in mining, I saw some of these challenges, and so we designed the digital economy infrastructure, and so it's called CADAP digital economy infrastructure. So it is the most seamless infrastructure that brings connectivity anywhere you are, and we connect via different so if you can see from the left of your screen to the right, on the left of your screen, a little bit up, all right, up corner, left corner of your screen, you see dedicated APN via SIM card, connectivity via radio frequency. And so I used to live in this challenge. And so we decided to look at how we get technology to solve that. And so that's why we are doing this, and we're solving this. So this is the digital economy infrastructure that we are rolling out across the continent.
Across the continent?
Yes, we're bringing this to each street on the continent.
Where are you currently? Which countries are you in Africa?
So we are registered here in Sierra Leone and in Nigeria. So those are the two countries that we are. We are registered in Sierra Leone and Nigeria.
Okay.
And so we are bringing these on each street on the continent of Africa.
Okay. So now that this means there's a number of questions from this. First of all, somebody will see that you are duplicating the infrastructure of the telcos, because I see that you have your own radios and all that. Why do you feel the need to have your own radios? Is it control purposes or reliability purposes or availability?
No, no, no. We bring unmetered internet. Nobody's bringing unmetered internet on the continent, so we are bringing unmetered internet. And if you want to bring unmetered internet, you have to mimic what they call the MNO, mobile network operator.
Yes.
And so that means you have to have your own international backhaul. You have to have local pipes that are yours, independent local pipes,
Okay.
or they call it national backbone infrastructure. You have to have your own customer premise equipment, and for you to do that, and it has to also have cloud content capacity,
Okay.
and customer acquisition hardware. And so what we have done is to mimic all of that, and so that we can bring unmetered internet. No company on the continent of Africa is bringing unmetered internet. And so we've signed for each country 500 Gbps for each country to
And
connect
what?
everybody via fiber, 500 Gbps DIA, direct
Okay.
internet access.
Okay.
Yes, via fiber to connect all countries in Africa. But also, we've also signed with OneWeb. So OneWeb is a satellite, just like you have
No, one
Starlink.
web. I know one web.
Yes, yes, we signed OneWeb as well. So we want to come via satellite and also via fiber, and so that is what we've done. And so we have the last mile to capture via satellite, and then we have also the capacity to use um, terrestrial infrastructure such as fiber and wireless.
Okay. Anyway, this is a personal question before any other one. Why go with one web and not Starlink? Because Starlink obviously is miles ahead in terms of readiness. Why one web and not Starlink?
No, no, I think OneWeb as well is ready. Starlink is ready, but OneWeb as well is ready. So we, as a company, digital economy infrastructure, um, we have services. Those services bring human capital, and so we have space scientists within our reach in the company that are directly linked to Starlink and OneWeb. And so that's how we got our contracts with OneWeb. I'm excited. I was excited the fact that OneWeb, started a partnership with Rwanda, and they're bringing services to Africa directly. And so we are into predictive analytics. And so once we fix the digital economy infrastructure, and then what happens on that infrastructure is data that we can use, and so we had access to OneWeb, and we contacted them, and we started the discussion till we were able to sign an NDA, which is taking us into a commercial arrangement. And so that's why we have OneWeb. But we also have access to Starlink as well.
Okay. So now you say unlimited internet. For those of us who understand the technology jargon, that basically means free internet. How
You said what?
when you say unlimited internet, I assume you mean free internet.
Unmetered internet is not free internet. It means it is not tonnage. Like for instance, the internet
You
you're
mean
using, the internet I'm using.
you're not selling let's say data bundles like maybe 5 gig or whatever.
No, no, exactly, exactly,
You're
exactly. We are not
selling
selling data,
you are selling speed, not data
not data.
quantities.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
Okay. I wanted to clarify that. Now, what is your business model? Okay, because from looking at the as we are looking at the shall we say the presentation in the middle, you can see somebody's holding a POS device. All right.
Yeah.
Does that mean that without the POS device, I cannot access your services? What if I have my normal phone or a laptop?
No, it doesn't mean that. So all of these things are not the business that we do. All of these things are infrastructure. So the POS device that you're seeing here, it's the world's only open um, payment platform that has all types of payment and all channels of payment today and tomorrow. And then you see the router that you see with the radio antenna. Yes, radio antenna as well. Is also the most rugged router in the world with capacity to connect via fiber, wireless, satellite, and APN via SIM card.
And you have this on all your sites?
Well, we are going to have this on each street. So the two will be on each street and it will be powered via solar. And that's why you see the one that is standing there with a solar panel and an antenna. And
so each street,
that's the connection.
So in other words,
on each street on the continent.
Each street on the continent?
Yes.
Of Africa?
Yes, each street, yes.
So what you're saying that on each street, there will be a base station with...
No, there will not be a base station. It's going to be like you have your DSTV dish on your house. That's how it's going to be. It's a matter of design.
No, but there are going to be base stations. Like what you are seeing here, if you look.
No, they are not base stations. That's what I'm telling you. They are not base stations because you have, for instance, if you're using one website. If you're using one website, you don't need a base station. You just need a direct IP
So
APN.
they are going to have a Kuban receiver on their houses. Okay.
It's a matter of design. You have the solar, you have the router on the pole, and then you fix it on the house. It's a matter of design, actually.
Okay. So there's each receiver station have a solar panel and a router on the pole.
And then a terminal to manage the services. Yes,
okay.
A terminal to manage the services that connect you and tag you and things and your activity between you and things.
Okay. Okay. Then it means that from there there may be a Wi-Fi hotspot or maybe a cable connection for people to access.
Yeah, there's going to be. So it has an antenna that gives. It has an antenna that goes up to 2 kilometer radius.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. I think I'm getting the idea now. Okay. Using which frequency? 2.45 gigahertz or proprietary?
So I'm an ISP. I'm an ISP service provider in Sierra Leone. So I have both spectrum and non-spectrum license. So you could use both, depending on how protected you want your signal to be.
Oh, okay. I see. So maybe if you're a corporate person that you want to have some level of guaranteed service, you can decide to have your use the spectrum that is.
So.
Hello.
6 gigahertz, 8, depending on what is at 23 gigahertz. And protect the signal.
Yes. Okay.
Into your office or into your house, and you have services.
Okay. So all this is just an infrastructure. In other words, just to make it possible for people to connect.
This infrastructure, our real business is the data. Our real business is the data, the activity that happens. So we have CADAP digital economy infrastructure is connectivity for all, power as a service, global payment platform.
Your line got broken at some point. I heard something data for all, then the...
Yes, I was saying that our infrastructure is built, connectivity for all, power as a service, global payment platform, cloud content management, and satellite technology and space technology. So we have two types of data. We have data on the terminal, that is aggregate demand data, that is what people buy and sell every day. And then we have satellite big data. So we are into satellites. So for instance, in Sierra Leone, we have 10,000 square kilometers of satellite data available to us via our satellite partner, that gives us, remote sensing data, about weather, about vehicular movement, about, for instance, if you want to, Ghana is trying to monitor the sea, and all the rest. And so that satellite data is really not our activity as human beings, what we buy and what we sell. that data does exist. And then for satellites, for space technology, if you want to develop sensors, to do mineral mapping, to do animal tagging, talk about geofencing. So you go into satellite technology where and do all of that. So we have all of that, within the digital economy infrastructure. So once you put all of that data together, what people buy, and how things are, where they are, what they move, and then you can do what we call big data for the individual. That's actually our business. So we need to fix all of this as infrastructure. People ride on it, they generate data, and then that data we need to do. We do analytics and predictive analytics. Yes, exactly.
So in other words, so all that you are doing is to enable you to get access to that data for your real work.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
That makes sense. Now, I have a couple of questions. What you just described is a very big vision. All right, I'm actually impressed. It's not all the time that I hear people that come up with ideas that I was like, wow, okay. So now, you keep talking about open payment platform. What do you mean by that?
So we have a payment platform that is, when they say open payment platform, it means you have an opportunity to come there and design your own payment type and channel. So for instance, if you want to say, I want people to enter into the supermarket and use the camera and through AI identify their faces or their people, their eye people, and connect that to the government data. I think Ghana is doing digital IDs. And so maybe you have a backend where you have digital ID connected to my PPO, and through QuickBooks and all the rest. So I enter into a supermarket. That camera in the supermarket is connected to that backend data. It's connected to my digital ID from the Ghana digital ID service providers, and then connected to my bank account. So as I pick products from the shelf, those products as well are positioned and all managed based on price and location. And that AI interacts with each other. And then whilst I'm working out, a receipt is sent to my phone that I have bought X amount of products and deducted it from my account, and this is the receipt. And then I walk out and go out without talking to anybody. And so this payment platform is open for that kind of development. So that's why it's open payment.
Okay, I think I understand that. Now, what is your value proposition to the average person out there? Okay, let me use myself as an example. I'm Ghanaian, I'm here. Oh, what is your value proposition to me? What do I gain from using CADAP as opposed to, let's say, my normal mobile network operator and my normal way of going about it? What is different? Hello? Sorry, I don't know what's going on. I think
so. I mean, you are already
answer your question, my question there.
showing me that you need me to give you unlimited internet. Your situation is already an answer to my question. That you need unlimited internet, which does not potency that does not break. But really, value proposition that we have, we are more interested. I told you from the onset that what we want to do is bring cash and capital into the hands of people. Thomas Piketty is my favorite economist. He said that the only way to take people out of poverty is to give them cash and capital. For instance, if you say, as you're seated here right now, if you say you are broke, you don't have money, you are poor, the fastest way to change your situation is to give you maybe $20 million, 20 million CDs. I give you 20 million CDs, poverty changes the address immediately from your address to somebody else's address.
Poverty can change address.
So,
I didn't know.
Immediately the address has changed. The next time they come to you now, they say that man is a middle class man. He has 30 million CDs. He has a car. And that happens because It's very serious, and that happens because I have enough data, about you to trust you with money, to give you money. I know how you spend. I know what you spend on. I know what you're buying. I know what you're selling. I know what you're doing. And so that KYC, know your customer, and the capacity for me to not fall into a non-performing, asset or loan, giving you that money, gives me the strength to give you. So there's money in the world. That there is money in the world, and also people get to, even with laws, with security, you're talking about, insecurity and all the rest. It's because people don't have access to see all of these things, and that's why people get away with certain insecurity. And so people put money into investment into places where they know that that money is secure, and they can get it. So for instance, if you want to invest into agriculture, Ghana, for instance, is good with cocoa, and you're talking about 25,000 hectares of cocoa that are infected currently, with and some kind of a disease that the Ghana government is trying to cure. It's because they're using you can't move around 25,000 hectares like that, but with satellite technology, for instance, you can move around and get to get all of that and know precisely what should be done and how much to invest into that, the yield and everything, and yield prediction and all of those things. And so you need digital representation of those things. And so once there's a digital representation of those things, and then people can know what the cost is in real time, and then invest into it. So that's why we need digital representation. So it's something that if we don't have, we can't really move beyond that. We can't move beyond digital representation because it gives visualization rather. It gives visualization to things, that people can't see, and so that visualization is what people want to know. And then, so I was saying that there's a guy who was talking to somebody, and this lady was working at these data call centers, and so the guy was telling the lady that the lady knows him more than his own mother, because the lady is managing her credit card, and she's working at the data center to manage his credit card, and she sees all that he spends. And so, almost 50% of human activity is payment. You know, where you are now, it has light. You are paying for that light. And it has a location. It has everything. And all the rest. You are eating. You are paying for that food. The internet that you are using right now, you are paying for it. So once you have digital representation to capture those things, then I know you better. I know you don't need to impress me. You don't need to tell me that you are rich. I already know how you spend and what you spend every day and every month and every year. So you don't need to tell me who you are. I already know what you're spending. Now, there is a general protection of that data under GDPR rules, and then also under KYC rules and NPA rules, non-performing asset rules, and know your customer rules, and all the rest. But I think we'll leave that for another time. I'm trying to rush into another meeting.
I know. I think. Thank you very much. This was for our audience. This was very much impromptu. I got in touch with you. Was it like 5 hours ago? We decided to quickly have this session, and this is a Sunday, so me too. It's like a very busy day for me. But I think we at least we have established the ground rules about CADAP. The next time we have opportunity, we'll talk about the after, because but the basis for me getting in touch with you, as you are well about the post you made on that page, very interesting post. I think I will read the entire post so that those for everybody to hear exactly what you posted. They will interrogate that further. Then we'll talk about data privacy, because from what you are saying, it sounds to me like you want to build basically a Facebook. We are the money.
So we are different.
You people. Oh no. You see, we just saying. Okay, you don't worry.
We are different from Facebook because we are different from Facebook because.
Oh, hold on. Hold your horses. Next time, we'll answer how you are different. No.
Okay.
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 And then, of course,
Okay.
the capital requirements, because that's one of the things I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
People with ideas like this, and I am one. I have ideas along these lines. You guys are. It boils down to money, the cash.
Yes, sure.
It should be the cash.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll be
Yes.
like somebody who just have big ideas, talk.
No, we
reality.
already figured out those things. So I'm an entrepreneur, so I've been in business. I know precisely what it means to move, business from one level to another, from one level to another. There are systematic approaches to think, So we'll discuss that definitely
This time. Yes.
Yeah. So
So thank you very much.
Roll out investment and all the rest.
Yes.
Yeah.
And after, you see that post that you made.
And the African continental fit, why CADAP?
That post.
Why CADAP is the key enabler for cross-border trade. We are going to be the key enabler for cross-border trade in the African continental fit.
It is debatable. It is debatable. You see,
Yeah,
this one, I'm giving you a welcome water, visitors water. Next time we will talk about it because I mean,
okay, thank you.
It was very, very thought provoking. I sent it to one of my colleagues. They were like, "God, this is a good post." And his thinking goes along your line. You get what I'm saying? I do agree with some of the sentiments there, but there are also some that I don't agree. But we'll have that conversation on a different day. Thank you very much, David. Like I said, you have to jump to another conversation. Take care. Bye.